were wearing Celtic tops.
They say Chris had no chance, you know. No chance to what you doing or anything like that. The boy just took a swipe at him and he cut Chris.
If it would be an inch under, I'd have killed him. An inch below, they said it would have killed him, he'd have been dead.
See, this is the kind of things we're talking about. This is... How would you feel? How would you feel if it was one of your sons or daughters or one of your mates?
A fan was shot and badly injured today with a crossbow bolt on the city's south side.
A teenager who murdered his next-door neighbour by stabbing him 150 times for wearing a Celtic strip.
Detectives appealed for witnesses to the attack. Police insider said there was little doubt it was a potentially murderous attack on the supporter.
For generations, Scotland has been in denial about this problem of sectarianism. For God's sake, it's 200 years old. It is actually embedded very strongly within the culture, particularly the culture of the west of Scotland. And so it's so familiar, it's so routine, that people don't actually think, or have not thought until recently, it's a big issue. It's a fact of life. It's part of the way of life of the society.
But now, for the first time in generations, there are moves on the political front to tackle sectarianism. Taking the initiative is Jack McConnell, Scotland's First Minister. He described religious bigotry as Scotland's secret shame, upsetting a lot of people.
If people think that it's wrong that I've got a wife who was brought up in a Catholic family, or they think it's wrong that I am not a Catholic, then they're the ones that are wrong. We should be living in a kind of country where people have got freedom of expression and an understanding of each other, and these sort of attitudes just strengthen my resolve, they don't diminish it.
2 weeks ago, Scotland held its first ever national summit on sectarianism. More than 30 organisations, including the leaders of Scotland's main churches, schools, the Orange Order, and both Rangers and Celtic, gathered together to debate tackling the issue of religious bigotry. This unprecedented meeting of minds was chaired by Jack McConnell, the First Minister.
I don't want people to be ashamed of their traditions, but when that spills over into hatred of another religion, hatred of another community, then that is what is wrong. And it's the public expression of offensive behaviour, the public expression of offensive language, offensive marching, the public hatred of others, and the encouragement in younger generations to feel that way too, that I think is most offensive in Scotland, and that is what we have to change.
Another victim of the violence which so often occurs on the day of Old Firm matches. His injuries weren't serious, but over the last 10 years, it's estimated there have been at least 10 sectarian murders linked to Old Firm rivalry, and in that time, hundreds of assaults.
It's based on prejudice, it's based on ignorance, it's based on pure badness. But whether it's because you wear a particular football top, or because you wear a particular faith, or because you're a particular colour, these some things for reasonable people like you and I, and the vast majority of people in the United Kingdom, it's very, very difficult to understand.
If you were a Martian and you came upon the setting of Rangers or Celtic on a Saturday afternoon, if you were suddenly parachuted into Ibrox and you heard this going on, you heard the venom, you heard the rancid chanting, you heard the ignorant, uneducated, prejudiced sentiment that came from the terracings, you really would think, God, this is a savage society.
This is Polmont Young Offenders Institution. It holds some of Scotland's most violent young men. Many are from backgrounds where sectarian values are actively encouraged. Among them are die-hard Celtic and Rangers fans.
I started to understand, maybe when I was about 10, what the words meant. where the Catholics and Protestants divided, it used like obscene words against the Protestants.
Such as?
It started to like Protestant scum and dirty orange bastards and all that, which drums that into your head, and that's the way you begin to feel yourself.
At the age of 10?
At the age of 10, aye.
My first ever memory was going to visit my uncle in prison and getting a Rangers top off him. That's the only memory I can remember. That drumming into my head about Rangers, how to hate the Fenians Celtic.
Whether my team won, drew or lost, I would come out and I would end up going and picking a fight with Rangers, a guy with a Rangers tap on.
Well, was that because they were Rangers or was that because they were Protestant?
Rangers and Protestants.
Tell you the truth, I didn't really know what Fenian meant at the time, but I took it on board anyway, because you're going to take on board what your uncles and that are saying, you know what I mean, because it's like your elders.
When you used to read about fans being attacked or murdered after games, and you read that it was maybe a Rangers fan it had happened to, what would you think?
Nothing. I used to think, good, one less Rangers fan.
One less Protestant?
One less of them to go supporting it at the ground. Whereas if I read if it was a Celtic fan, I'd be like, dirty Protestant scum, you know what I mean? Bastards. For doing that to one of us.
Deeply ingrained attitudes make life difficult for those who deal with the aftermath of an old firm match. Call-outs to paramedics can increase by up to 66%. The vast majority, violent or drunken assaults between opposing fans. Staff often experience the sectarian hatred firsthand.
Our nurses wear blue, our doctors wear green, some surgeons wear blue, and this may not be the colour of choice of the individuals being going to be treated, and there'd be an endless argument to calm them down, sort them out just so you can treat them. So an injury takes 5 minutes to stitch, it's an hour, and it's 3 persons trying to calm this guy down.
Yeah, people do sometimes take great exception to inane little things like that, and you know, it's totally absurd. I think anyone outside the west of Scotland just wouldn't understand it at all, but it's been like that, you know, certainly the whole of my life that I can remember.
Yeah.
Rangers and Celtic may just be football clubs, but like it or not, they've been put at the heart of this very public sectarian debate. Being in the media spotlight hasn't always been easy for them. Paul Gascoigne celebrates a Rangers goal by imitating a loyalist flute band. Donald Finlay, high-profile barrister and vice-chairman of Rangers, leading sectarian singing. Celtic manager Martin O'Neill endorsing an anti-sectarian initiative.
You personally think you can do anything at Celtic Park to stop it, the singing, the sectarian chanting from the stands?
Who?
You. Could you make an appeal to the people who do this, to tell them to stop it?
Well, I know you're asking me, could I make an appeal? Do you think that would be heard if we were 3-0 down at home in a game? That might be quite difficult. You know, I would say that the chanting would probably be levelled at me, to be perfectly honest. You know?
You want to sidestep this issue, right? Is it?
Pardon?
You want to sidestep it at the ground? That's what I'm saying, that there is sectarian chanting going on at the ground, but you don't want to address it yourself personally.
You're asking me that question?
I'm asking that question.
Are you?
It's an issue for you as a manager with fans chanting sectarian songs. Do you think you should be addressing that problem?
Well, you tell me then. All right.
I'm asking the question.
No, but you've obviously got an answer to it, so you'd let me know.
I don't have an answer. You're the manager of the football.
I don't have an answer either.
Celtic manager Martin O'Neill's claim that his midfield player Neil Lennon was the victim of racist and sectarian abuse during Saturday's Old Firm game.
3 years later, and for Mr. O'Neill, things now seem a little clearer.
He was verbally abused in a racial and sectarian manner.
And the Rangers manager's response today to the accusations?
I'm here only to talk about the Austria game, so if there are any other questions, I'll refuse to answer them.
The dilemma is how to break the generational cycle of bigotry and violence. Both clubs invest in educational projects. These children are from Catholic and Protestant schools across the city. For them, a tour around the stadiums and the chance to meet some of their heroes. For the clubs, it's an opportunity for them to tackle attitudes on religious bigotry within the next generation of fans.
Hands up if you're a football fan then.